Alright, morning John, Donald here. Oh, I hope this isn't going to make it too bouncy for you to read and watch. But here I am. This morning I'm going for a walk in the Huckabee Mata Trail in Ngaruawahia, and this is on my back doorstep. It's my favourite place to recreate and be in the outdoors, so I thought, hey, well, why not be the place that I discuss my outdoor philosophies in general. I'm using a selfie stick for the first time, so I don't know how it's going to go or what's going to happen, but let's figure it out. Alright, my plan to attack, I've got my little notes here, is just to kind of do the definitions, discussion points, and then roll through onto my personal views, philosophies, and how personal and professional can vary. So first and foremost, experiential education. Experiential ed to me is the doing of it. Okay, so it's where you have knowledge and you're applying it. So you're right, okay, go out and give this a crack. Well, actually you don't even need to have knowledge, you know. Classic example of that is, you know, you can within reason on a flat water area like a lake or a big eddy, you know, just work with kids on canoeing and let them kind of find out and explore how different techniques get them moving back and forth, turn the boat and whatnot, and then they kind of find it out as they go. So I think it goes hand in hand with modern teaching pedagogies in terms of student-centered inquiry, or student inquiry, student-centered. And I think it's really half of the coin, experiential ed, because we do need people who can just get in and do it and figure it out while doing it. But we also need thinkers, people who can conceptualize and look at a problem and work it through. And I think everybody really needs to learn both skills. Have the confidence to be able to just muck in and do stuff, kind of experimenting while they go, and then also being able to, given time or situation or whatever, also be able to stop and think, see how it goes. Right, so going to do these two together, EOTC and outdoor education. So outdoor ed in New Zealand, it's pretty much traditionally what I'm doing today. Going for a walk in the bush, canoeing, kayaking, very much probably now what I'd call adventure education, which is the activity is the means. You know, it's outside doing some sort of challenge, and I think that's definitely where its roots were. Now modern outdoor ed, definitely about connecting to place, understanding cultures and how they engage with different spaces, getting a deeper understanding of the ngahere if you're in the bush, and forming connections with that. EOTC, well, that's just education outside the classroom. Alright, so that's well, for me, any learning that happens outside the classroom. You take kids to make a sundial in the middle of a sports field as part of a science class. That's EOTC, right? You know, that's education outside the four walls. I think EOTC is a underrepresented part of our curricula and our learning approach, as we've got I don't know, with a culture, people are, you know, health and safety conscious, or just not even that actually. I don't believe that. I take that back. But I believe that people don't have the confidence to go. It's not the paperwork, it's the confidence in the systems to take kids outdoors or even outside. I kind of envision the way both outdoor ed and EOTC are going, that within the next little while the lines will become more and more blurred. And New Zealand still has some pretty strong traditional practitioners who are like, no, I'm outdoor ed, rah. But we're phasing them out, really, to be honest. And I think, you know, EOTC is the way to go, because it is education outside the classroom. It doesn't, you know, outdoor ed is kind of a strand within that, but it doesn't need to be. And contemporary outdoor ed is really stretching and blurring the lines between the two. Sweet, the last one is recreation, right? Recreation, outdoor recreation is what we do for fun. And you know, having a chat with the various people around in the community around Waikato. Outdoor recreation for some people is gardening. That's sweet. That's, you know, or fishing. Yeah, sweet. That's getting outdoors. It's so broad. I'd argue that it's, as a form of recreation, it's the most widely involved in New Zealand and potentially around the world, really. I mean, you got one, you know, you got the extreme end, alpinists, rock climbers, whitewater kayakers, base jumpers, whatever. But that's just one end, and sure, there's lots of films, and you know, they get all the marketing material. But gardening, you know, or even involving yourself in a local stream planting group, it's outdoor recreation. That's getting outside. That's giving back. Sure, it's conservation, but it's still you're recreating outdoors. So yeah, it's my recreation. It's what I'm doing this morning. It's going for a walk, even though it is actually for work. But it's fine. You can have work. You can be paid to recreate, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's what my job as an instructor was for however many years. I loved what I did and got to do it outdoors. All right, next section, personal philosophies. All right, I might take a second to think about this. All right, I'm back. So, outdoor philosophy and how personal and professional views can differ. Whoa, I've ridden this walk of a track. Pretty narrow here. So I mean, as I said earlier, kind of, you know, traditional outdoor ed has been about, and even the outdoors, about conquering, that sense of accomplishment, and I get that, you know, I get the feeling of getting to the top of a climb, paddling a river, getting to the top of a tramp, a lookout, you know, you really worked for it, and you get that sense of, sweet, we've done something, we've achieved something, and that's awesome. But I think my view is that that's a strand. That's potentially a very narrow view of what the outdoor philosophies that I have are, because there's so much more to it. It's so much more depth than just getting to the top. You know, there's understanding, there's listening, and to that, well, I'll go back a bit. Think about the narrowness of that idea of overcoming challenges. Linked to that, a lot of people have made programs, events, what have you, on leadership in the outdoors. Outdoors developed, you know, this is leadership camp, or this is a leadership program. I don't believe the outdoors makes leaders. I believe the outdoors makes people, some of who are leaders, some of who are thinkers, some of who are doers, some of who are tinkerers. Some, you know, it breeds a whole range of people, and to go that, right, we're going to go on a leader camp, or, you know, this is going to be developing young leaders or old leaders or whoever. I just think it sells it short and creates an unnecessary barrier. Should be just the outdoors makes better people. Either like I'm doing today, breathing hard a bit, even though, well, I mean, not even at the hard part of the hucks if we're honest, but you know, the healthy people, getting outside, breathing in this beautiful environment. I'll stop and spin for you, because it is stunning. Woohoo! Little floating head. Yeah, I really hope I haven't made this too bumpy to watch. I feel sorry if I have. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I mean, the whole idea of outdoors leadership. I mean, I think it's noble and it's a great aim to have, but it's not actually backed up by anything. And yeah, I don't know. I think everyone should get outdoors. It's a space. We're lucky in New Zealand to have plenty of it on it. And we're lucky in New Zealand for most of us currently, and I don't know what the future holds, but we have beautiful spaces relatively local to us. Some communities, as I've kind of said in my reflection journal, some communities are better connected to the outdoors. Pākehā New Zealanders, they're definitely more connected than any other group, and we as Pākehā New Zealanders need to address that. because it's for everyone, right? This isn't some sort of cultural viewpoint that only can enjoy the outdoors. You need to create spaces and places for everyone, from different cultures to different abilities. Alright, so I think that's probably enough rambling about personal philosophies. Probably summed up by saying that it's for everyone. You know, it's just here. We just need to get outdoors. And I know that's so simple and it's easier for me, you know, like, well, I thought I was fit, but apparently today I'm not very fit. Able-bodied 30-something male with disposable income, so I can do that. Not everyone's in my space, but we need to be able to make systems and structures so that happens. Alright, so this next one, where personal and professional views may differ. Yeah, and then kind of discuss. Well, I don't know, this is a bit tricky. So, where would they differ? Personal and professional views. Well, I suppose, I mean, I know I just kind of touched on it earlier, but... Alright, I'm back again. Okay, so I'll try and be as succinct as I can for this, because this is probably just dragging on and probably just getting bored watching me walk around with a green background. Cool, so how do they differ? I think the big one now is acknowledging our impact on the environment. There are a lot of professional practice out there. There is a lot of professional practice out there which doesn't have a clear concept of their impact, CO2 or you know, more local than that, on the environment. And some of it is justified by well, hey, I'm getting people outside, that's going to turn them into conservationists, or that's going to be the one thing that saves our planet and all the rest. I get that to an extent, but not really. You know, I think we need to be doing more. While I look at people, you know, their personal views, people are now taking, I believe, taking more care and conscious of their environment. Pack it in, pack it out, leave no trace, that sort of stuff. And while good, and I'm not saying operators aren't doing this, good professional operators are, you know, and they absolutely should. We should highlight them more so than the adventurous activities they take. We should take that, hey, these guys are carbon neutral or carbon negative, and they don't leave any plastics behind. While I could say for a whole bunch of personal trampers, and I should say I'm talking about trampers this time. Their views and there's definitely a growing understanding of their impact in a place, and simple stuff of sticking to tracks and you know, walking on boardwalks and kind of tramping etiquette. So yeah, that would be kind of how they differ, is that I think people have overtaken businesses in terms of their environmental footprint and being aware of that. So John, I don't know how long that's been. This is 3 videos. I'll try and upload as one. Fair bit of rambling, fair bit of probably nonsense. Hope I haven't made you sick with the bouncing of the selfie stick. I've never used one before, so yeah, but it's been a beautiful morning out here in the Hakari Matas, and thanks for joining me. We'll see you later.